Hey everybody, Tommy G here, and as promised before, we're going to finish some of these tutorials. Last time we did luggage handling, now we're going to do fueling of the 737 and the A320, and then we'll do pushback and walk around. So we'll start with the fueling of the Boeing 737. Yes, you heard it right here, Tommy G's gaming channel. And then after this, we can actually get out there and do some ramp work.
Hello there. In this tutorial you'll learn how to handle refueling a 737 MAX 8. Refueling an aircraft is one of the most dangerous tasks performed on an airport's apron. The hazard of fire, spills and other dangers are high, so you must follow many safety rules. But don't worry, I will explain everything to you. An aircraft is standing at the stand, with a planned departure very soon. Your task is to refuel the appropriate amount of fuel and ensure that the tanks are properly balanced. Get into the tanker truck and drive it to the vicinity of the indicated aircraft.
Wow, that's quite a truck. I mean, I'm used to seeing like that. I'm just not used to seeing this much truck up at the front.
Remember, under no circumstances should you turn off the engine in the tanker when refueling. There is an important reason for this, namely, in the event of a fire, you must quickly move the tanker away from the aircraft and the terminal to prevent a potential disaster.
Okay.
Okay, jump out of the cab and then open the door to the tanker's fuel compartment. Now you will need to protect yourself and the aircraft from possible sparks by connecting the grounding cable. Grab the grounding cable on the left side of the container. To connect the grounding cable, go to the aircraft's rear wheel and follow the actions displayed on the screen. Then open the flap on the aircraft wing to prepare for connecting the fuel hose. Approach the tanker, grab the fuel hose and pull it under the wing and connect it to the inlet. Great. Now check the tablet for the amount of fuel you'll need to refuel the aircraft. Go to the Operations tab. Select the aircraft that you need to refuel. In the task table, you will see the amount of fuel you need to refuel. Then go to the aircraft's refueling panel.
Oh, we got 12,000 kilograms. Looks like. Oh wait, the refueling panel. Right? Or is it over here is what he's talking about? No. Oh, right here? Here we go.
Okay, now I'll explain how to operate the fuel panel. The panel is divided into 3 columns and 3 rows, where each is assigned to its corresponding fuel tank. Tanks 1 and 2 are wing tanks, and the center tank is, as the name suggests, in the center of the aircraft between the wings. In the first row, you'll find bulbs that illuminate when the valves are open. In the second row, there are valve switches which can be set to open and closed. The third row contains the fuel quantity selector dial, the current fuel level indicator, and the target fuel level in kilograms. Since you already have the panel explained, we'll now focus on the refueling process itself. You must distribute the amount of fuel indicated on the tablet between the 3 fuel tanks of the aircraft. The fuel tanks in the aircraft are located inside the wings and in the central tank located between the wings. First, you refuel the wing tanks, and then you refuel the remaining amount of fuel to the central tank. You'll need to calculate how to distribute the fuel between the tanks. Each wing holds 3.9 tons of fuel, and the central tank holds 13.1 tons. To select the amount of fuel, toggle the right side of the switch. To stop, toggle the left side of the switch.
Okay, so I don't know. Let's see, what is he saying? Oh. Okay, here we go. So I want to get to 4,000 in this one if I can. Let's try this. No, wait. All right, and now this one.
Great. Now open the valves in the wing tanks. To exit the panel view, press the button displayed on screen.
Well, hold on. I got to get 1,200, right? So I got to get 4,000. Right? 4,200.
Now we only need to start the pump in the tanker by pulling the first lever from the left. You don't have to worry about overfilling, as it has an automatic fuel flow blocking system that will stop when the selected value on the computer is reached.
Okay. I'm dragging.
Once the computer blocks the flow, you'll need to manually secure the valve by switching the switch to the closed position.
Okay. right, there it's doing the fuel quality. So 3,900, 3,900, and 4,200 is just right? There we go. So now I can close the two of those. Yeah, because 4,000 each would be even. So 3,900, 3,942. We'll wait till this gets to 42 and then we close it. We could do other things while this is fueling if we wanted to. Like if I come off of there, I can walk around, this thing's just fueling it. This is 737. 737 Max. So this is interesting. Yeah, you get to learn how to both load luggage and fuel up 737 Maxes and A320 Neos. Pretty cool game. Getting there pretty quick. There we go.
Then open the valve for the central tank to refuel it. When finished, do the same with the other tanks and set the switch to the closed position. Great. Approach the tanker and turn off the fuel pump.
I don't know if I did that in the wrong order or what.
Now disconnect the hose from the aircraft and return it to the tanker. Then disconnect the grounding cable, close the panel flap on the aircraft's wing, and close the flap on the tanker.
Right?
To confirm that you have completed the task, use the communication panel. Open it by performing the action displayed on screen. After opening it, select the Flight Crew tab, then Fuel, and finally, confirm refueling.
How do I do that? Confirm refueling. Something to do with... No, that's not it. What button do I hit? Oh, 1. There we go. Ground crew.
Great! Now you can refuel the 737 MAX 8 aircraft. You will be able to do this task on your own during work. Just remember to move the tanker to a safe location after refueling. Until next time.
So we had to let the pilots know that we've refueled. It's like it'll be ready to go. Let's do it on the A320. What you think of that? Which means we go all the way down here. Pretty soon we're going to be certified ground crew. Now we're going to fuel the A320. It's going to be just like that.
Hello there. In this tutorial, you'll learn how to handle refueling Airbus A320neo aircraft. Refueling an aircraft is one of the most dangerous tasks performed on an airport's apron. The hazard of fire, spills, and other dangers are high, so you must follow many safety rules. But don't worry, I will explain everything to you. An aircraft is standing at the stand, with a planned departure very soon. Your task is to refuel the appropriate amount of fuel and ensure that the tanks are properly balanced. Get into the tanker truck and drive it to the vicinity of the indicated aircraft.
You got it.
Remember, under no circumstances should you turn off the engine in the tanker when refueling. There is an important reason for this, namely, in the event of a fire, you must quickly move the tanker away from the aircraft and the terminal to prevent a potential disaster. Okay, jump out of the cab and then open the door to the tanker's fuel compartment. Now you'll need to protect yourself and the aircraft from possible sparks by connecting the grounding cable. Grab the grounding cable on the left side of the container. To connect the grounding cable, go to the aircraft's rear wheel and follow the actions displayed on the screen. Then open the flap on the aircraft wing to prepare for connecting the fuel hose.
It's a little one there, isn't it?
Approach the tanker, grab the fuel hose and pull it under the wing and connect it to the inlet. Great. Now check the tablet for the amount of fuel you'll need to refuel the aircraft. Go to the Operations tab. Select the aircraft that you need to refuel. In the task table, you will see the amount of fuel you need to refuel. Then go to the aircraft's refueling panel.
So is this saying I need to refuel 2,000 of 13.7? Or it has 2,000 and I need to get to 13.7? I think I need to get to 13.7. So 2,000 off of that, that's going to be 11,700, right?
Now that the fuel panel is revealed, take a moment to study it, and I'll explain how to use it. Starting from the top, you have the fuel quantity displayed on 3 screens, showing the amount of fuel in each tank. Below there are 3 indicators that tell you whether the valve to the tank is open. These switches are used to manually open or close the valves. This switch is used to select the mode between refueling and draining fuel from the tanks. Using this switch, you perform 2 tests. The high-level test checks the operation of the high-level fuel lights. LTS checks the proper operation of all fuel level sensors and screens. This switch starts the batteries needed to start the fuel panel system. On the left side, there is a display that informs you about the amount of fuel you have selected to refuel. Below it, there is a switch that adjusts the final fuel value. On the right side, the display shows the total fuel amount from all tanks. The end lamp informs you when the refueling process is complete. Now that the panel has been explained, we will focus on refueling itself. You need to distribute the amount of fuel indicated in the tablet between the 3 tanks of the aircraft. Unlike the 737, in the A320, the computer automatically distributes fuel between tanks. Your task is to select the appropriate amount of fuel using the pre-selected switch. To set the desired amount of fuel, toggle the right side of the switch. To stop, toggle the left side of the switch. If you happen to set too much fuel, you can decrease it by switching the switch to the DEC position. Now we will go through the panel preparation for refueling. Start the battery by switching it to the on position. Then conduct the LTS test. Now start the high-level test. Add 11.7 tons of fuel to the tank using the pre-selected switch.
See, I got that right. It was 11.7. It was the whatever the top one was minus the oops. That was it. Yeah, it was the 13 something minus what was already on board, which is 2,000. Now I gotta stop this 11.7. Look at that. All right, that's good then, right? Pre-selected actual, right? Select the fuel amount. I've done that. 11.7. Right? I've done 11.7. All, what did it say? All open, because it must be in closed state. Right? Okay, let me pause it a second. Okay, here I did it way too much.
Now we only need to start the pump in the tanker by pulling the first lever from the left. You don't have to worry about overfilling, as it has an automatic fuel flow blocking system that will stop when the selected value on the computer is reached.
But I had 14.3. I guess I do the total amount, and then it says there's 2 on there. Oh, it's a 2. Oh, I see. So pre-selected 13.7, actuals 2. So I did 11.7, and it didn't. It just hung up. It didn't do anything. So when I got to 13.7, it was pre-selected. The actuals 2. It's going to take that off because there's 1 in each wing. Okay, I think I understand that now. It wasn't clear before.
Once the computer blocks the flow, you'll need to manually secure the valve by switching the switch to the closed position.
Let's go check on this. Right? There we go. All right, so I can't open any of these or anything. But I don't need to. Essentially, of all this stuff, I'm using this stuff here, the modes, the battery power, the testing, the mode select, and the pre-selected amount. See if I take my headphones off. Put the headphones back on. See what this can hold in each wing. Doing nothing in the center. How about that?
After the computer blocks the flow, you must manually secure the valve by switching the mode select switch to the off position and locking the switch with a lock. Now turn off the battery on the panel. Then close the fuel panel door.
Alright.
Great! Approach the tanker and turn off the fuel pump.
Doesn't do it all.
Now disconnect the hose from the aircraft and return it to the tanker. Then disconnect the grounding cable, close the panel flap on the aircraft's wing, and close the flap on the tanker.
Can and will do. Oh. Right? Didn't I? Oh. Nope.
To confirm that you have completed the task, use the communication panel. Open it by performing the action displayed on screen. After opening it, select the Flight Crew tab, then Fuel, and finally, confirm refueling.
I think I hit Q. No, Q. E. F. C. 1. Oh, here we go. Flight deck, let them know that we've confirmed fueling.
Great! Now you can refuel an A320 aircraft. Keep in mind to move the tanker to a safe location after refueling. See you later!
Alright, see you later. Perfect. Great. Now we got one more lesson, people, and we will be certified ramp agents. Hey people, alright, so obviously you noticed the edit there. So what happened was I went through this next tutorial and ran into a glitch where it wouldn't let me go any further in the pushback thing. So I'm going to try that again here, and if I run the same glitch, you'll see what I'm talking about, and we'll just end it there and say, okay, we figured everything out. But right now, the only way I've left is pushback and walk around. So I think this will be fine that I'm overdoing this anyway, because my last one was not impressive. So here goes.
In today's tutorial, you'll learn about the pushback and walk-around procedures. The pushback procedure is one of the most difficult ones you can do at the airport. When pushing an aircraft back, you must be careful about your speed, the angle at which you're steering the aircraft, and of course, everyone on board the aircraft and around you. The pushback procedure is typically performed with the help of a special vehicle and a tow bar. We will be operating such a vehicle specifically designed for this task, the Goldhofer Bison. These vehicles are characterized by high power and torque, which means that certain models can push even the heaviest of aircrafts with full loads. Let's get started. Your initial task is to attach the tow bar to the back of the Bison. Before you do that, you need to prepare it for transport. Use the handle in the middle of the tow bar to lift the wheels and increase the clearance for transport.
All right, and that shows us the bars over there. So again, yeah, we are welcome to the Conch Republic. This is the Key West Airport down here in Key West, Florida. So it says right there above the door, you can see "Welcome to Key West." So this is one of the airports in the sim. We'll be working here at some point. Key West International Airport Fire Department. So I was paying attention to this before. This took a long time for me to use, folks. But you do F to use it, and then you pump this up, and essentially it's like a mini hydraulic lift to the wheels to get this thing off the ground. So I'm just keep tapping my F button until it tells me I'm done.
Now you're ready to attach the tow bar to the bison.
Alright, so now we got to run back here to the bison and tow it. And I'll show you. I was so confused before by all this because I'm like, well, you don't tow it in the back, but you'll see. So yeah, I think this will happen much quicker than it did the last time I attempted this, and hopefully we don't get that glitch where once I pushed the aircraft back, it was stuck. And the other guy that's supposed to unpin it from the aircraft and allow me to move away from it. It wasn't happening. So I couldn't move the vehicle. It's like, okay, move away from the aircraft. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying. But it's not working, okay? Let's try a different... well, this one's kind of... waiting until I see it show up. And that's not really showing up on the... Is it? There we go. That should be good, right? Let's pop out and find out. Pop around and find out, huh?
Okay, now you need to transport the vehicle with the tow bar into position in front of the aircraft we will be pushing. You must park in such a way that the tow bar is facing the aircraft's wheel. So, you'll have to maneuver in reverse. I recommend changing the camera to an external view to make your work easier. Great! Now, go out and detach the tow bar from the back of the bison. Now park the bison so that it is behind the tow bar facing the front of the plane.
Alright, let's try that then. We'll step out. We want to detach this, right? Disconnect. Now they want to do this. But we want to turn this thing around.
You must park in such a way that the tow bar is facing the aircraft's wheel. So, you'll have to maneuver in reverse. I recommend changing the camera to an external view to make your work easier.
Done. Alright, now it says, you can see it along there at the top. This is where I was kind of like, well, what's happening? It says, remove the cones and chocks from the apron. So, I'm going to remove the cones first. And I'm running because I don't have all the time in the world here. Engine is not running. So we're good there. And you hit F on each of these to pick them all up. One, two, three, four. I think I can grab as many as 6. 5. 5. And then 6. Look at that. Now you can, if I hold left, no, if I hold, oops. Oh crap. I think if I hold, if I hold the right mouse button, I can rotate these. Wow, that's, how is that so difficult? There we go, just to try and get them sort of normal. I think I got them all right. All the cones. I put them right over here, and Y drops them all. And then I gotta get the, whoa, gotta get the chocks. I spun too soon there.
Great. Now wait for the start the APU. In this case, the APU will be started automatically. In a normal scenario, you'll have to notify the pilots of the APU startup, but you'll learn about this in the GPU tutorial. Before departure, you must check if all the aircraft components have been secured and if there are any items on the plane. This process is called the walk-around, in which you walk around the plane, checking its individual components and verifying that they've not been damaged. To do the verification, approach the highlighted area and hold down the button displayed until it is verified. If you believe all the elements have been checked thoroughly, open the communication panel, go to the flight deck tab, and then select walk around.
Alright, so we're going to walk on up here in the nose cone. Everything looks good. There's no damage, and it's sealed. There's nothing sticking out. The front door section here, fuselage, nothing wrong. The pitot tube is unobstructed. The engine nacelle and all that stuff like that. Doesn't look like there's any damage to any of the turbines. Anything around the edges here as well. Leading edge of the wing is blemish free. The left landing gear looks to be good. The pods here in the rear part of the wing is good. The wing tips, no damage to any of the components there. Back here, rear fuselage, everything is welded well. There's no loose bolts or anything like that. The tail portion, everything looks okay. Vertical stabilizers are good. Horizontal stabilizer good. The rear fuselage, the cargo section, everything's secure. Tail edge of the wings and the pods hanging down are fine. The right landing gear is good. The right wing tip, no damage to components or to structure. Leading edge wing, everything looks good. No gaps. The engine, turbo fans look good from here. Nothing wrong with the nacelle. The bottom edge of the wing, it's good. Front portion of the fuselage, all the bolts are secured. Nothing wrong there. By the front door is secured and everything's good. Everything looks good on the walk around. Finally, the nose gear looks fine. I think that is it. So we're going to go back here, and I say 1. I'm going to go to flight deck and tell them, hey, walk around is complete. Everything's good.
Now your task is to attach the tow bar to the aircraft. To do this, approach it and grab it by the front handles by performing the displayed action. Then using the controls displayed, you can guide it with you. To turn the tow bar left or right, use the buttons displayed. To tilt the tow bar up or down, use the buttons displayed. Now that you know how to operate the tow bar, attach it to the indicated element on the aircraft's front wheel.
Alright, Q makes kind of tilts a little bit, and dragging, I push it. Well, it's at the front end. I think I meant this end, right? There's got to be a better way, right? I mean, I'm just sliding it across the ground. What's F to use? No, that just clamps it. So I'm actually, I think I push it further. There we go. Now I'm pushing it. All right, I'm walking and dragging it. Pushing it forward. Pushing it forward. Okay, I think it's come to a stop there. Almost. Right?
Then attach the tow bar to the front hitch of the Bison.
There we go. It's actually coming down on the thing. Now I got to pull this thing up. So let's see. It's right off my right wheel, essentially underneath my thing there. I think it's going to be right about here. Right about there. All Go external. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Oop, oop. There we are. That's perfect right there. Step on out.
Great. Now get behind the wheel of the Bison. Before you begin pushback, you'll have to wait for a signal from the crew that you can start pushing the plane. You'll see this signal by the illumination of the position lights. These are red flashing lights located at the bottom and top of the aircraft. If they are on, it means you can go ahead and start pushing the plane.
Alright, and they are on.
In this case, the plane will be taking off from runway 27, so you need to push it out to the left. Remember to make smooth movements and brake calmly if you need to, as the crew is likely conducting a safety briefing for the passengers. During the pushback, you'll have to notify the crew that they may start the engines. You will do this using the communication panel in the flight deck tab. Remember to inform the pilots to start the engines before moving the plane onto the taxiway to avoid prolonging the standing time. There will be a zone on the taxiway where you'll have to place the plane so that its wheels are inside it. The plane must be positioned as parallel as possible to the taxiway lines. Once you have stopped, the supervisor will detach the tow bar and bypass pin from the plane for you. When the tow bar is detached from the plane and reconnected to the Bison, you'll have to drive back to the stand from the taxiway.
The last part's what didn't happen last time. Alright, so I gotta go here. I gotta push back the plane, but I have to communicate with the... okay, so notify the crew to turn on the engines and wait for ground. Okay, so that's where I gotta go. Right, so I think I do 1, and I say flight deck, engine start. Alright, there they go. Alright, so I told them to turn on the engine, and now I could start pushing the plane back. I see I messed up there a little bit. And now I'm kind of screeching this thing across the ground. Yeah, I kind of messed up here on this. Whoa. I'm kind of pulling it at this point, right? but that's kind of like what I had to do to sort of correct my mistake. This is my first time, people. It's my first time. Give me a little bit of a break. Look at this. Look at this. All right. Oops, 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 wrong way, wrong way, wrong way. Oh my gosh, this is awful. This is horrible. Now here I am. And I'm going to get it right here. I think that's
Great.
good.
Now go back to the stand from which we pushed the aircraft.
Alright, he just pulled it out. Alright, so he's pulling it out. He's unpinning it. And we should be able to pull back. We did. Alright, so this is what didn't work last time. Alright, so that was real ugly, folks, but we did it. Real ugly, but we did it. I mean, I had to go push back and forth and back and forth.
You have just completed the tutorial on the pushback and walk-around processes. Now you know how to perform these operations.
Sort of.
Good luck.
We need it. All right, yeah, thanks for watching that. So, yeah, I was able to, this time he did pull the pin and do all the stuff I was able to get out. It was better than the last time, believe it or not. But it's not easy pushing that thing back. You know, it's sort of like backing up a semi-truck where you're kind of turning one direction to see the trailer go the other direction. It's the same sort of thing with the plane, and that so the geometry doesn't always mesh immediately in your head, and you got to sort of work again. I didn't do all that well, but hopefully I'll do better when I'm on the ground. Thanks for watching, folks. The next time we do these, we'll be working the ramp. Talk soon. Bye now.